Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video. So, we are going to be catching up on some Sims 5 news this time around. Thanks to Peak Sims and Sims Community, we now know of an article that VentureBeat did where they interviewed Laura Mila. I looked up the pronunciation of that last name, and I found at least 3 different ways of pronouncing it, so hopefully I chose the right one here. But at one point The Sims does come up, so the interviewer says, "On another note, I talked a little about The Sims. You mentioned that, which is totally a great point with Maxis related games, Sim City, Sim Farm, even The Sims Online. It was 20 years ago, ahead of its time, with letting people build a character, build your environment. The Sims is still a vibrant franchise for EA right now. Is there sort of an opportunity to do more of there? I look at Roblox, Fortnite Creative, and things like that. It seems like The Sims, out of all your franchises, is maybe best equipped to play in this world?" And Laura replies saying, "Yes, a lot of fertile ground for The Sims for sure, and the idea that we will build on the tools for people to play with life, that's our brand, and the idea for people to be able to play with life together. We had The Sims Online that came out in 2002, which was around 20 years ago. We certainly were ahead of our time. I think 20 years later, we learned a lot about how players interact, what motivates players, how players can come together cooperatively, and so as you can imagine, as we think about the next generation of The Sims, it's super important for us to have the best tools, the most flexibility, and for players to really expand on their creativity, remix items and objects in the world. And then to do that together, I think that's one of our biggest opportunities with The Sims, is the social connection component that we need to bring to this brand and this franchise. The team is hard at work on the next generation of that experience. I imagine as The Sims becoming more of a platform for creativity, it feels like an opportunity." And then Laura says, "Absolutely. And it's us being able to create a framework and that players are actually gonna create these experiences. And in the end, it's doing it together, doing it collaboratively. They are sharing, they could create marketplaces. What we arm them with and the capabilities and frameworks we arm them with and where they take that, I think it's going to be a pretty significant surprise and a pretty exciting time for us as we bring these tools and platforms to market." It does concern me a bit that The Sims is being compared to Fortnite and Roblox here, though that's on the interviewer's part, so there's no guarantee that The Sims 5 will be just like those games. But Laura did bring up a marketplace idea, which I find is a little odd because it just feels like another example of EA potentially just going in the completely wrong direction for The Sims 5. Like, The Sims definitely needs course correction, and I don't feel like that's it. And even though it's still not officially 100% confirmed that The Sims 5 is going to be online multiplayer, I feel like this is just another thing where it's like, yep, it seems like it is more likely, but they can't say for sure yet because they haven't officially announced the game. Even though there is a chance that multiplayer could be optional and not be always online like SimCity was, that doesn't change the fact that development time is being put into that could be put into other parts of the game just to improve the core game and make sure that the game has a lot of content and doesn't end up like how The Sims 4 was at launch. While I do think at its core The Sims 5 should combine the best gameplay from The Sims 2 with the open world element of The Sims 3, or at least have large open neighborhoods, along with quality of life improvements that The Sims 4 brought along, I still think that The Sims 5 should at least do some things that are new and advance the formula in ways that couldn't really just be done in The Sims 4. These range from both small to big things. Like, for smaller details, I'd love for plants to not be able to clip through walls anymore. That's a meme that I would absolutely love to see die. And I would love to see Sims be able to walk and hold hands and do multiple interactions together. Not just like in a romantic way, but even if you have like a mom holding their daughter's hand and they're just walking and talking, or maybe playing catch or something like that. I think that would be so much fun and so realistic, and that's something that The Sims hasn't done yet. With Snowy Escape, they almost got there with the hiking feature, but it is still pretty limited in what you can do. You just kind of have to watch your Sims walk and talk and do certain events together. For build mode, I'd love to see curved walls. I feel like The Sims has to do that now, since Paralyze is doing it. I'd also love to see lots, so-called lots anyways, to be placed anywhere we want, except like to the point where it's not too close to the backdrops, because then that would not look very good. I mean, I would still hope for the backgrounds to be better and not be like The Sims 4's cardboard cutouts. More closer to The Sims 3's, where you just have a lot of mountains with a few trees on them, or just distant ocean. But I would really like to be able to place things anywhere and kind of just get rid of the concept of lots as we know them. Just be able to place down what we want without having to be so concerned about fitting it into a 20 by 30 limit or 50 by 50 or whatever. Of course, Create a World should come back. I've lost hope for it returning in The Sims 4, especially since the worlds are structured so differently in that game from what we had in The Sims 3. In that very interview we were just talking about, Laura does bring up the idea of remixing items and objects in the world as a way to expand our creativity. So that would be great if that at the very least meant that we could edit existing worlds. That'd be great to finally have that back. It would also be great to have a proper pond tool and round pools back. For both build mode and Create a Sim, I'd love to have the color wheel come back, instead of just having the sliders for a few select things in Create a Sim. Better representation for all kinds of people is also a high priority that they should have, not just after launch, but right when the game comes out too. Better variety of hairstyles is needed, as well as clothing that represents different cultures. And we need the ability to choose pronouns for our Sims. I mean, maybe this could be done in The Sims 4. A lot of people are asking for it, but to have that at the start for The Sims 5, that's definitely something that they need to do. I'm also unsure whether they'll ever address disabilities in The Sims 4. I know SimGuru was talking to other people in the community about it, but nothing's really come out of it, so I just don't know if it's ever going to happen. But either way, The Sims 5 should also have this from the beginning. In terms of cosmetics, tattoos I think could use some love. It would be great if we could layer them and just be able to place them anywhere we want on our Sims, just using the mouse to place them down. Also, at the time of recording this video, we still don't have body hair in The Sims 4. I still feel like we'll get that eventually, but just have that in the base game in The Sims 5. I feel like that's what should have happened with The Sims 4. One last feature that I can think of right now that I'd love to see in CAS is the ability to layer clothes. If you've played The Sims 2 on console specifically, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's such a great feature where you can layer undershirts with overshirts and jackets. It multiplied your outfit options by so much. Of course, we should still be allowed to have those pre-made full body outfits, but I'd really love to have a lot more customization than what we've had in previous games, and it's just weird to me that this has been on console for so long, but it never made its way to the later games, whether on console or PC, I'm pretty sure. I don't think even on console it made it to The Sims 3, and it didn't make it to The Sims 4 either. Well, this ended up turning into a mini wish list for what I'd like to see in The Sims 5, but I did want to give some examples of what they could do to innovate The Sims without having to rely on just following the Fortnite trend. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts on that article in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!